Hi again. Wow, I feel like weirdly exposed now. Like I couldn't wait to open this camera and talk, but I feel like oddly like I need to cover up. I've been trying to like not ignore, I've been trying to like my love has come along. Sorry, this is too good of a song. I get it. Okay, I'm just gonna let it play because it's pretty. Okay, I don't know. I feel like that helped me feel a little bit better. I had a dream. It's not the first time my abuser's been in my dreams since remembering. But this is the first significant time, I feel like, and like I want to crawl out of my skin even talking about it. I think it's important to talk about it though. Yeah. In the dream we just talked, there was no physical contact, which was good. I don't know what I would have done if we had hugged in the dream. And a lot of C-PTSD survivors frequent nightmares throughout their life. Trauma nightmares is very normal. I luckily, and I think it's because my memories were repressed, haven't really had those. And even since remembering, they haven't been so much of symptoms, really. Fingers crossed, thank God. I think that my trauma nightmares, especially having complex post-traumatic disorder, stress disorder, and also having my memories been repressed, still, I know, I just know myself well enough, and I know at this point the situation well enough to know that there are many other memories. Unfortunately, maybe I will remember them at some point in my life, maybe I won't. But I have had nightmares for a long time, and I did have nightmares around the time that I think the really big trauma started happening, because it was kind of like a ramp up, and then I was told that I had a lot of nightmares around that time, and I do remember having a lot of nightmares around that time, but my timeline was off. Like, it's like almost like I completely forgot about a whole year of my life. Like, I didn't forget about it, but like it completely changed. Like, I thought that when I moved into this one childhood home I was 7. Well, it really turns out I was 6, if not right before 6, which like now I'm looking back and I'm able to remember like, oh, okay, wow, that is true. Like, that's so weird, like what our brains do to protect ourselves. And so I had a lot of nightmares back then. The only thing that I remember was having a lot of nightmares about spiders, because that's my number one irrational fear. Damn it. This will have to be a part. I'll have to finish this. Give me a minute. I thought I heard somebody coming in the house. Might have been my downstairs neighbor. Anyway, so yeah, I just remember dreaming about spiders a lot, and I remember crawling into my mom's bed a lot, because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't go back to sleep if I was alone. Who knows what the rest of the nightmares were about, unless maybe I didn't dream about spiders at all, and that's my subconscious trying to protect me. Like, here, we're gonna make you think that you had this dream about this thing that you really are afraid of, because something more scary happened and we can't show it to you. Like, you can't handle it. Bodies and brains are really so cool. But anyways, yeah, so I've had nightmares throughout my life. I think I went through like kind of phases where they were stronger and where they weren't. But in my conscious memories, the nightmares, I don't really think they were about the trauma. They were about, I think, how my triggers manifest. I think it was the trauma kind of steeped into like any other dreams that I was having. And because my memories were repressed, I didn't know where that was coming from. And I didn't actually see said trauma. I didn't know that it was even a thing until like later in my life. So anyways, that's kind of the nightmare chain that is my life. I, like, for instance, I had dreams where I moved back into the house with that family member, and I just of course didn't realize what that was about. I thought it was just because I know I had been through mental and emotional abuse. I at that point I had known that whether I wanted to like actually admit that it was true or not, but like I knew it. And so anyways, I don't know. I'm kind of veering. That happens a lot. That happens to me a lot. I will dissociate a lot. I will get triggered. I will start feeling shame, or it's on the clouds. It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, I dissociate a lot. And I didn't realize it was dissociation for the longest time. I experience more than one symptom of dissociation. But one is just kind of veering off in the conversation, whether I'm the one talking or it's another person talking. My brain will just go somewhere else. I will either get distracted by my thoughts, I will get distracted by an emotion, I will just leave. Like, I will just, my brain will just leave for seemingly also no reason. And all of a sudden then I will come back to, and I realize that the person said like 5 things and I have no idea what the fuck said. I don't even know what I said. I don't know anything. And then for me, I'll be talking and I'll just lose that train of thought a lot. I'll just have to say, oh, well, I forgot. Let's move on, I guess. Maybe I'll remember, maybe I won't. And that's hard. And that's been a thing for so long. And it's kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit. Like, the closer I was to figuring out the trauma, like, unknowingly, the worse everything would get. And then, so on the other side as well. And I didn't know that that's a huge symptom. And because complex post-traumatic disorder is not recognized in the DSM yet, it is recognized in psychiatric communities, just not officially in the DSM yet. So, straight PTSD is the only thing that we're taught. So it's just different. And I think when you realize that that's what you have, not even just specifically to C-PTSD, when you realize that you have something and it's not what you thought it was, and you realize it's not your fault, and you realize that all these things that are the way that you are, that you think are crappy, that you feel shame about, like all the things that you feel like you are not normal, that the other rest of the world is normal, those are symptoms. That's a symptom of PTSD. Love you. I can love you better than she can. Yeah, so, and of course we're not taught about complex post-traumatic disorder, obviously, and it's just, so it's interesting, like, realizing your triggers and realizing that there are triggers that are slightly different than what we're taught with traditional PTSD. I'm very excited for when that does become an actual diagnosis, because I will be the goddamn first one. in the line, because I have it. It is just what I have. Anyways, song really threw me off. Just back to the dream. We haven't really, my trauma, like the topic of my trauma has been kind of lingering in the air in my dreams, but it hasn't really been brought to the surface. And so last night or this morning before I woke up, it was actually point blank, like, this trauma happened to me. It was very, like, it was just like I had a conversation about it, like, this is what you did to me. And it was just strange, and again, I want to crawl out of my skin, and I hate it. I hate the person. I'm pissed. I'm doing a lot of research on C-PTSD, on PTSD in general. I'm researching what, like, common C-PTSD triggers are, because, like I said, they are different than the widely known PTSD, which I also have when memories resurface, or even when, I don't know, honestly, they talk about PTSD in, like, very concrete ways, but I genuinely think it's slightly different. Like, even C-PTSD, I think it's way more of a spectrum than, like, we think it is, like, just based off of my experience, other people that I know's experience, even experience of what's in the media. And I know that media cannot be counted on, but some of what you see in, like, TV shows and movies is true. And so, that is something actual people experience, like, with this disorder, right? So just learning about those triggers, and I'm learning about what that looks like. And then also, like, there are the common triggers, but then there are the triggers that are very complex, very specific towards you and the trauma that you went through, and how it was unique, and how you experience it now, and how you handle yourself now, and you handle everything around you. And I'm tired of being triggered unknowingly. I am so triggered when it comes to music. I am so triggered when it comes to singing. It is one of my favorite things in the world. I'd say that there are two great loves in my life. One is singing, and one is the ocean. I can survive without the ocean. I can survive with just singing, but barely. Like, I'm so obviously not happy if I'm not by the ocean. But if I had to choose, I guess maybe I would say singing is the greatest, because I can take singing anywhere. So yeah, I guess in that regard, it is the great love of my life, and it has been since I was a kid. But my abuser is just wrapped up in it so much. He just always has been, and I feel so much shame every time that I sing. So that's why I end up stopping. I end up thinking, oh, well, I'm just bored. I'm bored of this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm never gonna make it anywhere, or, I suck. Like, what I'm bored of is the trauma. I'm not bored of singing. I can never be bored of singing, like, ever, ever, ever. I'm bored of the trauma. I'm bored of being triggered. I'm bored of him having any sort of effect on me at all. It's boring. It's tedious. It's like, come on. Like, it's just... So, so I'm learning the triggers, and shame is a trigger for me. Huge. Absolutely huge. Genuinely. I think also, though, there are things that are prompting shame. So then I'm, like, double triggered. Like, the thing that's prompting the shame is triggering me, and then the actual shame is triggering me. And that happens a lot everywhere in general. When I was working in DBT, for borderline personality disorder. So for those who don't know what that is, it's dialectical behavioral therapy. It's amazing. It's gold. Absolutely love it. Wish it was more trauma centered, especially considering those with BPD, often a huge component of that is it's triggered by trauma. So anyways, but that, it's great. It's absolutely great. And one of the things that you learn about yourself, you learn your urges and you learn your really big emotional vulnerabilities, like which emotions affect you the most. Shame is huge for me. Shame is so big. Like, I can't even sit here and tell you enough how big shame is for me. Imagine the universe times like a lot. That's how big shame is for me. And my urge is to avoid. That's literally one of my biggest urges in life, to avoid everything, procrastinate, avoid even the things that you like, hence singing. Yeah, I'm learning that, and it's cool, and I'm watching a lot of videos, and I'm spending a lot of time on YouTube here, which is annoying because he does the same thing, and that's another trigger. Anytime I think of him, anytime that I have a similarity with him, that's going to set off these alarm bells. Like, it's already happening to me. Like, I'm right here, right now. Like, I'm boiling. Like, there's sparks going off in my head. Like, I feel like everything is, like, tingling. Like, my arms and everything like that. And so that's just interesting. That's cool to learn about. And so experiencing a different kind of a symptom, like as I did this morning, is inevitable. But it's just I wasn't sure how today's gonna go, but I'm kind of getting this out in this video, I think, is really helping. I've been wanting to do YouTube for a long time. We'll see if I actually continue with this, but I just want to share my story in as legal of a way as I can, which is bullshit. And I want to help others. I want to help other survivors, others who have PTSD in general, but complex PTSD. I want to spread awareness. Oh my God, do I want to spread awareness on childhood sexual abuse. Just the shining light, just... it's not okay. It's not talked about enough. YouTube has been my great savior. Like, this is where survivors actually come to talk, and which is amazing. I can't even believe that I have that. Like, before YouTube, like, there was nothing. Like, what was there? And there's not Survivors Anonymous groups. Why wouldn't there be Survivors Anonymous groups? Like, assault survivors, sexual assault survivors in general, are turning towards AA, which I wanted to go to AA for a long time, just for the sake of, I'm not an alcoholic, but I do have an addictive personality, no wonder. So I've wanted to go for a while. Like, just, I think the whole, like, premise under AA is great. I wish survivors had a safe place to go that aren't, like, private Facebook groups, that aren't, like, I don't want to have to search far and wide. Survivors should be able to just have a very widely accepted group to go to. That's a lot more accessible. So anyways, so that's where I am right now, just with the dream, with like, I woke up, thought it was okay, but then got super emotional and angry and grumpy, and just I shared a little bit about it in my close friend story, but then I was like, nope, so that's where I am right now, and I feel a little bit better. So thank you for anyone who listens. Yeah, as usual, this is a survivor story.